Hi. Sorry, I didn't warn anybody, but I was working in the studio and I am home alone. So I thought, let's go live. Hi, everybody. How's it going? I was initially planning on doing this Erica Bowler bag as just a regular video, but like I was just saying, I got a wild hair and I'm home alone, so I figured, why not go live? So I'm just gonna log on to the video on my laptop so that I can see what you guys are saying. So 1 minute, please. I had tried to go live in my Patreon. Oh, hi, Orlando. Thank you. I tried to go live for my Patreon people, but then I realized that that needs to be more scheduled out. So I just figured I'd come over here to you guys. So if you're just joining, I'm just going to log on to this video on my laptop so that I can see the comments. I hope that you guys are all doing lovely this evening. Again, if you're just joining, I am working on an Erica Bowler bag. I have it all prepped and ready to go, and we're just going to rock and roll. Here we go. Okay, so if you're on my Instagram or in my Facebook group, then you know that I have been sewing some Erica Bowler bags recently. Since I got back from my RV trip, I decided that I wanted to add some new products to my product line, and I also switched the way that I am doing all of my sales. So I am just doing updates. Well, I'm going to try to do shop updates instead of being... sorry, I'm getting blown up with text messages. Instead of being a made-to-order shop, I'm going to try out, and hopefully it works, just make stuff that I want to make and then load it onto my website. So anyways, brought me to the Erica Bowler bag. This is the full size, so it's a large one. And then this is 85%. Tonight I'm going to be making an 85% size bag. And just to give you a little, or another frame of reference, I remember the first and only time I ever made a Swoon Dolly bag. I was shocked at how large it was. I didn't know that it was going to be as big as it is. So if you've ever made, or not Dolly, but the Betty Bowler. So if you've ever made a Betty Bowler, you know how large they are. So this is just the size comparison. So the Erica Bowler is quite a large bag. And then, of course, the Betty Bowler is just a tad wider. But I love the construction of this. I think I was really apprehensive to make this specific pattern because it is bound inside, and I don't know what adverse interaction I had with binding, but at some point I made the decision that I hated it, and I was wrong because it really wasn't bad at all. And maybe it's because I'm a bit more experienced and I just am more confident in my skills, but I didn't have any issues whatsoever. What I didn't have on hand was actual binding. So I've been kind of playing with textiles to use. And so this, on the inside of this regular size Erica, I did the cambric fabric that you can get at Joann's. When I was in Florida in the RV, I didn't bring any of my landscaping fabrics, so I had to go to Joann's and I found the cambric, and I've been using that for my ID slides. It's basically, it is landscaping fabric. It's the same exact feeling and makeup of it. So I used that on that bag. And then I thought, why not try the landscaping fabric that I have been using here? And it worked just as fine as well. But I will say that the cambric or the traditional landscaping fabric was a little bit better because it's evenly like all of its fibers are even, whereas this landscaping fabric here, it's pressed together, and so there are some spots that it's not as thick and it kind of shreds a little bit easier. But so the only other difference is that I did this one, I did all wax canvas on the inside and then foam for the quilting, Peltex on the bottom, and then I did foam quilted on the top here. Whereas on this one, I just did foam and I did Peltex, and I did not put any anything besides 808 on my lining on the zipper gusset. And I noticed that when I zip it, it kind of has a tendency to want to cave in just a little bit because there isn't that hard structure underneath it, which is why when I made the second one, I did the foam and it lays much nicer. However, the foam zipper gusset paired with the wax canvas made it, it's definitely a hard-sided bag, which isn't a bad thing, but it's very, very structured. And on both of them, I have not made the crossbody straps yet, but yes. So these are the two that I've already made. And then for tonight's, what I'm gonna work on is I'm gonna do the pocket and the prickly pear. And then I am gonna quilt it. I tested out my quilting. I wasn't sure how the quilting would look on the prickly pear, but I tested it out and I feel like it doesn't retract too much from the print, so I'm gonna go for it, but I'm gonna do a wider quilt, probably like this one, so it's nice and big waffle. So I'll probably do that as to not retract from the print as so much, but yeah, I don't think it looks bad. Okay, so I've got the cactus or the prickly pear, and then I've got black, and then this hot pink. So I'm gonna do these three together for the exterior. Oh, I need to cut a zipper. I'm gonna do a mustard zipper with it because the little flowers are mustard. I was gonna do a mustard cork background. For back here, well, I'll just show you on this one. For back here, I was gonna do mustard, but I feel like the mustard kind of gets lost with all the natural, so the pink is like very vibrant. So I'm gonna go that route, and then I'll pull out the yellow with the zipper. And then for the lining, I have from Juicy Juice, Giuseppe, his Art Deco line, which I'm obsessed with. I use it on a lot of things. Actually, the lining of this one is also from his deco line. I think it's his deco line. I don't know. I just love all of his stuff. So that's that one in there too. But yeah, okay, so I'm going to tilt you down so that we can get started, and I'm going to read some of the comments. And please bear with me. As you know, it's been a while since I've done this. Yes, I'm still wearing the same hoodie as I was the other day. I live in it now. It's so comfortable. All right. I guess I can tilt you up for a second. Excuse me. So hello back to everybody. Cindy, my trip was amazing. I talked a little bit about it in my last video, the mail opening, if you want to hear a little bit more. Hello to everybody. Hello, hello. Thank you, Patricia. I love to make them too. I'm glad to be back in the studio and behind the sewing machine. It's been a long time. Tammy, good. Let me know if you have any other questions about working with cork or specifically to this bag. The hollow bag creations by Nick. If the 85% is more firm, how is it turning out? So this is not a turning bag. This bag is a binded bag. So all the seams are bound on the inside, and so you don't have to contend with turning it. If I were to amend this to make it a not turned, or to make it a traditional style bag where you do turn it, I think that it would be darn near impossible to flip with the materials that I used on this one. But you can see it's like really firm, definitely stands up on its own, and it just has a lot of structure. And then especially with the binded edges, it gives it even more structure to hold itself up. So this is a bag that you could probably crush and it would come back to life. Happy birthday, Nicole. What a great name. Washington State. That's awesome. That's where my sister lives too. Let's see. Hi, Carol. Hi, Jenna. Oh, happy birthday, Jenna. Happy birthday to everybody. I'm glad you're spending it with me. I meant the final turn after binding. Oh, sorry, Nick. Yeah, it's not the easiest bag I've ever turned. I will say that I noticed on the smaller size, because the zipper opening isn't as large, then it is a little bit more challenging. The large one, I had no problems whatsoever, but it was different materials. So for this one that I'm going to make tonight, I did not do wax canvas. I did all cotton, which is actually a little bit different than this one too, because I lined these pockets in wax canvas to add to its sturdiness. So yeah, I've just been playing with all the different combinations. The other thing is I did some math on how much these bags are going to cost, and this is how I do my math. So I broke it down by, I measured all the pieces, and I multiplied it, and then I multiply it by how much my cork costs, how much my cotton costs, how much my interfacing costs, and how much my wax canvas costs. And I add in my hardware, and then I multiply it by, for this instance, I did by 3 and by 4, but I don't foresee wholesaling this bag anywhere, so I don't know that I need to multiply it by 4. But just for instance, so a full size, so this size of cork and cotton, only times the 3, it should be $223. So I don't know, like my market is good, but my market isn't that good. I haven't gotten that popular. Just to make a cork and cotton full size Erica, for me, my cost is $74.32. So this is an expensive bag to make for me. But I'm sure if you made it in all cotton or in all vinyl, you'd probably have a much bigger window of pricing on that. But okay. Oh, Punky Pine, happy birthday to you too. Nick, debating making one at 85% using waterproof canvas and vinyl. I have not worked with waterproof canvas, so I can't really speak to that. But from what I've seen, especially on Lauren's videos, it seems like it is similar to wax canvas as far as the body, like the structure of the textile. So I would think that you could probably get away with making that, especially because you wouldn't really be lining it, I guess, right? I'm just imagining you can't iron waterproof canvas, right? Or vinyl. But depending on the body of the vinyl and the canvas, or not canvas, but yeah, canvas, then I think that you would probably have a similar structure to this, where it holds itself up, but it's a little bit more flexible. Okay, so I think I'm all caught up. So let's get started. I'm gonna move my mess out of the way, or just relocate it. Hi, Brooke. Just to let you know, we are working on an Erica Bowler bag at 85%. I was not planning on going live, but here we are. And you guys are keeping me company now. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I want to adhere my flex foam to my pockets so that I can get it ready for quilting. Oh, actually I lied. I'm going to draw my lines on first. And this piece of foam is so janky, but it'll be fine because it'll be on the inside. You won't even see it. Oh, I guess I should tell you, I did make one amendment. I think it's only one amendment to the pattern. So the pattern piece has you cut out this as one big piece, but I just separated it in half because she has you add, the straps go here. Show you this one. So the straps go all the way down into the bag down here. And the way that the pattern is written, you add the straps just to the main panel. Imagine that this is all one color. And then you take an additional piece of cork and you cover the strap ends. But I just decided to go in and cut it in half and I added a 1/4 inch on either side, so that way I can sandwich and flip and save that piece of cork down there. Okay, so let's draw our lines. Gotta decide which one would be the front. Oh, they're like almost the same exact cut. If you look at the print, it's kind of hard to see. This print is so glossy. All right. I don't know where my chalk is, of course. Wow, that's awesome. So I'm looking for my chalk pen. I swear, I feel like I spend the majority of my time looking for stuff in here. Even though I'm pretty good at cleaning up and putting everything away. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. All right, sorry about that. It fell behind my machine. Okay, so when I'm measuring out the lines that I'm gonna cut, I just try to line it up and center it. And then I mark my centers just so for later in the pattern, which I'm gonna do that with the silver pen. Oh, I don't need that for this one, but down here. And then I just kind of start. Like I just angle my ruler from one intersection of the cutting mat to another, and then I just mirror that and build up. So I'm gonna start here and go here. All right, so that's so there, two. And then I just match it on the other side. And then I have my guidelines, which if you can see, there's that big X now. And now I'm just gonna move my ruler and make lines all the way up and down until I get the intersecting grid. And so I wanna keep this waffle large as to not take away from the print as much as possible. So I think I'm gonna go for a 2-inch wide grid. Excuse me. Choking on my own spit. Hi, Katrina. Let's see. And I think I could get away with using the silver pen here, but if I sew over the silver pen, I have a feeling it's going to be hard to remove, so I just don't take that chance. Okay, so this is what the grid looks like. If you can see it. I'm trying to get that glare off. There you go. So you can see all the X's and intersections. And so now I'm just going to mirror that on the other piece here. Hi, Marie Letha. I hope I said that correctly. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. And hi, Cake or Death. Love your name. I myself am a chocolate cake person. Okay, so on this, you just want to make sure that you mirror the same exact measurements. Otherwise, it's going to look wacky. So if you're just joining, I am doing an Erica Bowler bag at 85%. And I'm going to quilt the front panel, the front pockets. And so I'm just preparing to do that. Having this yellow ruler makes seeing yellow chalk really hard. Are any of you sewing tonight? Or are you all just watching? Okay, so I've got them both prepped. And now I just need to put on my flex foam, which again, don't judge me for this cut. It is what it is. This one's pretty. And so for this, I'm just going to use a little bit of basting spray to hold it into place. But if you wanted to, you could use double stick tape or Beacon Fabri-Tac or whatever quick drying glue you like. You don't need a ton. You just want enough to hold it in place. And then you'll notice I built in a seam allowance. It's quite big in some areas and small in others, but the goal is to have at least 1/4 of an inch, if not 3/8 out of the seam, because the pattern calls for 3/8 seam allowance, but I just always use 1/4 inch. But whenever you get to attaching it, you know, you don't want the foam in the seam. And you want to make sure that it's already trimmed and ready to go prior to quilting it, because once it's quilted, you're not going to be able to cut it. Which might seem like common sense, but I can't tell you how many times I've gotten foam sewn down and had to pull my stitches to get it out of the seam. Okay, so now we've got the front pockets ready to go. I'm just going to fold. These are going to be my strap anchors. So I'm just going to fold these in half. Prep those. I like to do as much as possible when I can. So instead of following by the way that the pattern is written, I do batch sewing. So I'm going to prep everything that I can now, take it over there, and then sew all at once, and then come back, you know. It's like the other side of the table is really far away. Just kidding. Cindy, did you make your pattern piece bigger to compensate for your quilting? I meant to, but I forgot. But yeah, I meant to make it wider because it does shrink. So do that for sure. Oh, good, Marie Letha. I'm glad I said it right. Nick, I'm working on a bag of... Ooh, cool. Can't wait to see it. Jenna, curled up on the couch all day, staying out of the crazy Texas storm. Yeah, man, the weather all over the U.S. is just crazy right now. Seems like everywhere. Even when we were down in Florida, the last few days we were down there, it was freezing cold. So we had to hightail it home because we don't have heat in the RV. There was one night we slept in the RV and it had to be 38, 40 degrees maybe. It was pretty cold. I was glad we had Joppa. All right, so now I'm just marking a center line down my strap. So this will be my crossbody strap. And so I'm just marking a line down the middle, and then I am going to fold it to make it a 1-inch strap. So normally I do my, you guys have seen my straps. I do the 1-inch strap, and then I do the 0.75 contrast color on top of it. But for this pattern, she does the 4 fold. And I tried it just because I figured with a big, like a heavily structured bag, it'd be nice to have really structured handles. And Alexis was right. So I really like it for this bag. And I just don't think having like a slimmer crossbody strap will be the same. So Had to bite the bullet. That's probably a big reason why the price of this bag is more, because I'm using 6 extra inches just in width on a lot of this stuff. And then of course it's a long strap too. So, all right, so I'm just gonna do the same thing on my handles. Just draw a line down the center, double stick tape, fold, which you're about to see. Let's see, I can move you guys, it's easier. All right. There's that. Joy. Hi, Joy. Gosh, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Just filed and paid my sales tax. Oh, yeah, I have to do that quarterly. It's such a pain. And it's such a pain to do it the way that I have to do it, which if you vend, I'm sure you get it. You know, you have to remit to every different county in North Carolina. And I accept payments in person, on Square, and then PayPal through my website. So I have to go through every single transaction and figure out if it was in North Carolina and then what county it was in. So it takes forever. I've got a really cool spreadsheet that I made though. If spreadsheets are cool. They're cool to me. I like them. All right, so I'm just gonna take my double stick tape and I'm gonna put it down both sides of this line that I drew in the center and then fold it in. Hard to see on the black, but, and then encase the raw edges in the middle there. Let's see, sew all day until around 8 p.m. Oh, nice, Pam, that's awesome. I'm supposed to do that, but I just have a hard time focusing sometimes. Sometimes I just want to play Sudoku. Reno with the gecko falling from trees. Oh yeah, I know, in Florida, that's wild. We didn't see any of that, but that's because we were too bundled up in the RV to leave. But I did hear about those geckos. When we lived in Fort Lauderdale many, many years ago, there was huge iguanas. So I saw something from that area where somebody saw an iguana on the ground where it was cold. So it had fallen out of the tree, and they put a pillow under its head and a blanket to help warm it up, which is pretty cute. I don't know that I would get that close to an iguana that big, though. I'm a scaredy cat. Jamie, what's a great way to use cork scraps? Depending on your size of the scraps, I would say like a zipper pouch. Of course, using them for strap anchors if they're smaller, on the smaller side. And then I use them for snap tabs in my wallets. But yeah, it just all depends on what is a scrap to you. Oh, cold Michigan? Good gosh, yeah, no thank you. It's chilly. What is it here? It's 46 here. It's cold enough for me. After leaving Colorado, I'm good on the super cold weather. Hi, Lori. Thank you. Welcome to the video. Barb. Yeah, Sudoku, I have to play it on a phone, though, because I'm not super good that if I make a mistake, I can figure out where it is. I just get too frustrated and flip the page. So I have the app on my phone. And, yeah, I'll play Sudoku for hours. I resisted for a while, but I started playing Wordle when we were on the road. I found a way that you can access the archived days. And so I basically played Wordle on the entire trip back from Florida. All right. Hi, Betty. No problem. Oh, my God, Nick. -7. No, thank you. No, no, no. Okay, so now I'm just going to fold the long edge in, and I'm going to fold it to almost meet with the, might be easier to see on here, to almost meet with my line. I don't want to butt it all the way up against the line, because if I leave a little bit of a gap, then when I fold it, it gives this cork down here somewhere to go and it doesn't get all bunched up. And it's easier to sew and it's just easier to work with. 16, no thank you. God, yeah, I'd be on the couch too. So yeah, as you know, bag making, half of the process is just prepping everything. I swear, if I could hire somebody to come in and cut an interface and do stuff like this, fold the straps, I could probably make a bag so fast. I'm sure we all could. I guess that's part of the process though, so. Do you guys like this angle better than where the camera was before? Okay, so there's one side. I'm just gonna flip. Let's see, Jamie. I tried using my Cricut Explorer for the first time to cut a Cork SVG file and it completely messed up. I have a couple of tutorials on the SVGs. The problem is that I have a brother scan and cut. And in my research recently, because I've been trying to figure out why SVGs import correctly to Brother and Cameo machines, but they incorrectly import to Cricut. And what I found is that the DPI, which I cannot remember what it is now, I think it's like points per inch, so like what makes up the image, is smaller. It's a smaller amount than the Brother and the Cameo. So when you upload an SVG into Cricut, it resizes it for its DPI, which does not translate to every other cutting machine. So I know that that's what happens with my SVG files for people. If you have a Cricut, you always have to resize them, which is super annoying, but I'm trying to figure out a fix for that. But I don't know if it was my SVG, but if that's the case, then you have to resize it. It's just the way of Cricut versus Brother Scan and Cut. Crystal, least favorite part, making straps. Yeah, you know, I used to really, really, really hate straps, and now I don't know why. I just kind of turned a corner. I don't hate them anymore, but I mean, they're not my favorite, but they're not the thing that I put off the most. Now I've gotten into the habit of, oh, hold on, let me go close my door. My husband just got home. Hey, babe, I'm doing a live video. Okay, sorry. I've gotten into the habit of just making my straps first. Otherwise, I don't make them, which is why the two bags that I showed in the beginning of the video still don't have their crossbody strap. But, alas, I will make them eventually. Okay, so we got the handle, or the strap done, so I just need to do the handles. Cake or death. I just got a Brother Scan and Cut, and I love it. I've been labeling everything. Yeah, I made this, like, board. This is my orders board, so it has like upcoming, like, and then what I need to order, and then just like my sewing queue. That's about the craziest I got with it when I first got the machine. But yeah, I don't use my Scan and Cut really for, I literally use like 1% of its capabilities. I want to use it more, but I just use it to cut certain things. I didn't even really understand the scan feature until last year. All right, let's see. Hi, Beowulf. Definitely cutting the pattern out is the worst part. Pam, yeah, the reason I like cutting the pattern, if you're talking about cutting the actual textiles after you cut in piece, like the paper pattern, that's kind of annoying to me. I don't like to do that. But I do like the cutting process a little bit because that's the design part for me when I just start to envision what I want to make. And originally I was going to do the Art Deco cork as the main pockets. but I really wanted to do aqua, and I don't know, for some reason, I just don't dig the aqua with the deco. And so, yeah, anyways. Also, these directional cork prints I find kind of challenging to use in a lot of my patterns because a lot of my patterns are folded, or, you know, it's the two sides folded, so then one side is upside down. Yeah, so anyways, I thought that this would be a fun Erica Bowler, and honestly, people love the prickly pear when I'm bending. So, yeah, hopefully it'll sell. Otherwise, I'll just be forced to keep it, I suppose. Let's see. Barb, the Brother Scanning Cut that I have is an older one. I think it's the CM650. The newer models, which I'm not sure of the model numbers. Somebody here, Gypsy Robin, said to get a DX. I'm not sure. Robin, is that the one that automatically gauges the blade depth? Because that seems like a useful tool. With mine, I have to manually set how deep I want it to go. But I do kind of like that because now I can like really, really use up the blade. I don't use my Scan and Cut often, but I have never changed the blade on it because I just keep making it cut a little bit deeper. And I haven't had any issues with that. Okay. Just got to bobby pin this and then we'll move over to the machine. So now I need to decide if I'm going to do contrasting stitches on the black and the pink, or if I'm going to change my thread. It's either black for the black handles or beige to match this. I do love a good contrast stitch. Here I did it on this olive. But I don't know, contrast stitch, you gotta really, can't mess up. Okay, let's see. Oh, the board's a good idea. I got the bottle bag. Oh yeah, cake or death. Yeah, it's the board helps me stay organized, especially because I have orders that come in from different locations, and I have customs. Like this whole section down here is customs orders, and I can like mark if people have paid and what they've chosen and like what day they paid. Because if people don't give me a deposit, then it'll just stay on my board, which is why I still have two there. One order's for my grandma, so I gotta make hers. She called me today to check on it, actually. But yeah, I love the board. It helps me stay organized. And I've just got lots of other little, oh yeah, there's like little pattern ideas that I thought up and that I just never have made. I've got pattern drawings everywhere. My notes in my phone. And they're all like finger drawn, so they're terrible on my phone, but. Okay, so I'm going to move you over to the machine and get you situated. And then we will start sewing. Oops. All right. Okay, whoops. So Kelly said, when we order your patterns with SVG, are there dimensions included so that we can resize the pieces for the Cricut, or would you just measure the pieces to do that? First of all, hi, I'm glad that you caught it live too. Some of my patterns have the dimensions in them and some of them don't, which is on my to-do list to go back into the patterns and write out all of the measurements strictly for the SVG users, because Cricuts just do import them incorrectly. My other thought was that I could create SVGs specific to Cricut size and then sell those separately, so I could have like for Brother and Cameo and then for Cricut. But I think that's going to end up being a mess because a lot of people just don't read stuff. So, oh, thank you, Jamie. Yeah, it's a big patch. It was a chain stitch patch I had made of him. But yeah, people don't read. So I foresee if I try to split the listings between the cutting machines, then I'll have to be doing a lot more work on my end to make sure that people got the correct files. So yeah, I'm just going to go back in and add the measurements. The biggest one that has issues is the tall wallet. But if you need the measurements, you can either measure them from the printed pieces, which is how I imagined people would do it, but they usually just email me for those. And then, or I'm going to add them in later. Nicole, yeah, their scanning cuts can be really intimidating too, but I think if I just spent like a full day exploring it, I could find more uses for it. I do have a heat transfer vinyl piece because I was wild at the craft store and bought one, but I don't know how to use it, so I will try to figure that out. Okay. Pam, what do you mean both are annoying? Both of the options for the SVG option? Because if that's what you mean, I agree. Whenever I started offering SVGs, I didn't know that I would be spending so much of my time fielding emails about how people need help. So SVGs are kind of like a double-edged sword for sure. All right, I'm going to put you down and start sewing. So before the inevitable happens, I'm using a Juki TL2010q machine. I'm using a size 16 Schmetz needle and Gutermaan Mara 120 thread, which I thought I saw a question about the thread. Did you figure out which thread you like the best? Yeah, so I've just been using this Gutermaan Mara 120, and I like it so much so that I've started to get the big kahunas. So this has been good thread for me. It has like nice visual lines, but it still burns if I burn the edges, which I really like. So it's polycotton. All right, I'm just gonna start quilting because that's the fun part. And I want to see what it looks like on this prickly pear. So I'm going to order the Triskel. Yeah, you spelled it right. Good job. Yeah, the Triskel's fun. There's a video link in the pattern for that one. That's not a public video. I love a contrast stitch, but yeah, you can't make a mistake. Yeah, Pam. You gotta really watch it. I don't have a cutting machine, but would prefer to have hard acrylic patterns. As a matter of fact, I've been working on this for the longest time. And I'm glad to say that I just got the final revisions in the mail. And so I'm going to be offering 4 of my patterns soon. So it'll be the bifold wallet, the tall wallet, the mini box tote, and the Triskel are going to be the first 4 that I'm going to offer. I just have to open these up and measure everything and just make sure that they're all correct. And then they will be listed on my site. It might be a pre-order situation so I can gauge how many I need to order. But yes, I have been looking into acrylic templates for like the last 2 years. But yeah, I finally found somebody. It's got Off the Wall Quilting is who's doing them. And Rick, he's been really good to work with, but he's just so busy that he's just a busy guy. So it's taken us a while to get to this final revision on the templates. I always thought templates were excessive, I guess. I just never saw the need for them. And then when I got my patterns turned into templates, they really are useful. I was kind of shocked at how much I use them. Oh, I just didn't finish drawing my lines. That's cool. So I just kind of stopped drawing my lines over here, so I'm gonna have to go back and add those, but I think it looks pretty good. I was really kind of nervous that the quilting would take away from the print, but I think it looks cool. Let's see. I don't have a cutting machine, but would prefer, oh yeah, okay. Nick, I just roughly scaled down the tall wallet for Cricut, and I think the final is about 3 to 5% larger. Yeah, the tall can be larger too. I would say that the size that I have it scaled for would be the smallest that I would make it because the width of the card slots. But yeah, you could totally enlarge the tall wallet and be fine. You just don't want to enlarge the width of your card slots. You want to keep it the same as the pattern. I took a class for Triskel at my local quilt shop. Oh, cool. That's awesome, Jamie. Who taught that? Take my money. Yes, I will, Jenna. Yeah, I've been working on these templates for way too long. And I plan on getting the other patterns made. And I think I might even get the business card and the slim or the zipper pouch made into one. I don't know about the zipper pouch, but the business card, my free patterns, I might get them made because I make those all the time too. So I think that would be helpful. But yeah, so I have to do it in stages just because Rick is really busy and it's just a long process to get everything finalized. But yeah, so I'm gonna start out with the 4. Those are my 4 most popular patterns, and then I will start adding in more. I likely will not ever have templates for my Taste Steel unless it's just super, you know, unless people just keep asking me. But the Taste Steel, I don't know. We all have different preferences when it comes to rectangles. But some people love pattern pieces. Okay, I have a dusty purple flower cord from Emmeline to use, but I have to check my files for which SewGnar patterns I have. Oh, yes. Well, be sure to post a picture in my group so I can see. Kelly, yep, it's FF77 on the back. And Robin, yes, you're right. Rome was not built in a day. But geez, you'd think templates wouldn't take 2 years, but whatever, we're here now. And Rick just seems like a really, really cool guy. So I'm really excited to be working with his company. And I just saw that they're going to be at Sew Magical Expo too, so that's really exciting. So hopefully I'll have some templates there for sale as well. Well, yeah, I definitely will, because Sew Magical isn't until November. We will have more patterns ready by then. All right, let me, since I never use this cool machine back here, I turned it into a cutting station. And I'm going to just add my other lines that I forgot to add to this. Oh my gosh, now that I have a new ruler, this one is so gross and so hard to see. I cannot see, actually. That's crazy. Whoa. All right. Sorry for that loud noise. Okay, so now they're both quilted And I need to do the handles and the straps because I want to move on. So I need to do them now. I put my bobby pins in upside down. Oh wait, there's a whole thing. You're supposed to stitch down the center first. I'm also trying to make this pattern from memory after only having made it twice, which is a really great pattern. So it's not hard to remember. But the strap detailing. Sorry, that was like a train of thought out loud. Welcome to my brain. Oh no. Whatever, I'm going for it. I didn't really space this out the way. Oh, yeah, maybe I did. All right, whatever. Okay, and then she provides measurements in the pattern, and you do 2 lines, and you sew the exterior, the outside box of this internal section, and you leave this part at the bottom unsewn because when we add it to the pocket, we're gonna sew it together. So, oh, but I shortened my straps. That's another change that I made. I shortened, since I made this at 85%, the original one that I made, I left the handles the same as the big one. And I just think it looks, they just look a little bit oversized. So I sized down the strap length by 1 inch. And so I need to actually look at the one that I did. Because there's this section, like I was explaining, you sew, it's hard to see on these straps, but there you go. You sew all the way down, and then you leave a gap, but I left too big of a gap. So there's like this little section here where it's not sewn together, which doesn't matter because the middle is sewn. But I want to make sure that I don't do that again. And I drop my strap. So I'm just going to measure this. Am I though? Oh, this will fit in there. Okay, so 5. I think this will work, but we'll find out. And if it doesn't, it'll look super weird because it's contrast stitching. Okay, so again, get these measurements from the pattern, and I'm changing them a little bit. But yeah, so she has you mark 2 lines on both ends. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sewing at this end and go all the way down to this other box here. And then she has you do this like fancy trick to poke the thread back through so that you don't have any tails, but I'm not going to do that. So there we go. It looks pretty cool with contrast stitching. You can see one of my stitches is a little closer on this side, but we like imperfection. So I'm just gonna do the other strap real quick. I'm gonna pay attention to where I'm sewing this time. All right, that's a little better. That's how close the other one should be, but whatever. Okay, let's make my little lines here. So I'm sewing long straps like this. I don't know if you've noticed, but I just kind of Ouija board hands, my new sticker. I just do that on either side of my strap and then just go for it. Put the pedal to the metal. And then where my fingers are resting, I just am very careful not to move them, and it holds a nice straight line. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, might as well just do the crossbody strap over here, and we'll be done, and then we don't have to mess with it. Guess I'll do it the same. I was gonna be lazy and not do the middle stripe, middle stitches. Waiting for my bobbin thread to run out on me for me not to notice, because that's what happened last night. We're almost done. Yay, done. Ta-da! Okay, so now we can move on to the fun stuff. Just move the stuff out of the way. I'm gonna grab my linings for those pockets. Oh my gosh, oops. Not only am I clumsy, but I am terrible at fusing, I swear. I should get a heat press, but I don't have enough room, but I'm just so bad with fusing stuff. Anyway, so I'm gonna just lay my pockets right sides together. And just eyeball and match up the edges. Use my new glitter clips. And clip just around this top section here. And then we're just gonna sew this section right there within that seam allowance. Go ahead and clip this one and catch up on some comments here. Oh, Gypsy Robin, that's amazing. Having access to plexiglass, somebody who can cut it, is so good. I called locally here a glass shop, and it was the equivalent of them looking at me like I had 3 heads, but it was over the phone. They had no idea what I was talking about. I want to go to So Magical, but it sounds like such an expensive trip, especially considering all the shopping. Yeah, it's not going to be cheap, that's for sure, but I guess you get what you pay for, maybe, hopefully. And then maybe you can think about it, like, I don't know if you've been traveling the last couple of years, but if you haven't, then you're owed some vacation money. Jill, I swear every bag you make is next level. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try. I like one to do a bit of trouble, so I want to prove Kevin. Robin, oh, I don't know if you're talking to me. Oh, I see that you're having a conversation with Crystal. Okay, good. And Pam, again, I don't know if you're talking to me. I'm using size 4, or I'm using a 4 stitch length, and then a size 16 needle, if those questions were for me. Otherwise, carry on. All right, I'm gonna stitch just the top here. Like I said, I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. The pattern calls for 3/8, but I do what I want. You want to go slow on those curves and get them nice so that your pockets lay nicely. We're going to do the second one here. Keep that one a little low. Okay, and then there's that one. I'm going to go grab my pinking shears so I can cut out the excess there. So most people know this, but if you don't, always cut either with pinking shears in a curve, or make sure you're cutting slits, because otherwise all of that bulk, whenever you flip it, is going to get stuck in there, and it's not going to have anywhere to go, and it's going to make your curve all lumpy and bumpy. Nobody likes a bumpy curve. Okay, so you can see here, like what I was talking about, this is real close to my stitched line, this foam, so that's going to be kind of a pain, probably, for me. So when I'm flipping any fold, I always start, might want to make sure your stuff is interfaced properly, but I always start in the middle, and I finger press, and then I work my way up the curve, all the way around. And then I flip, and when I flip, I'm rolling the cork to the front. And I'm just gonna work in sections and go up and around. And so I'm trying to make sure that the backing fabric is all the way in the back, that it's not visible from the front. So I'm really making sure that I'm rolling it to the back. And then another thing that you'll notice when you do curves like this is that it wants to fold in and take the natural route, but make sure that you're pushing it all the way out. And so what we have, and now I'm just going to top stitch this one before I flip the other one. So that's what it looks like. And then that's what it looks like on the back. And so now what I'm going to do is kind of smooth this over, make sure that there isn't any excess fabric, and I'm going to clip it. And I'm just going to baste these two together. Using a really, like a 1/8 seam allowance. Squirrely there. Okay, so this is the finished front pocket panel, and here is the back of it. And now we just need to do the second one. I bought an industrial and learning it since it doesn't have a, ooh, Jenna, gosh, no reverse on an industrial. That's a heavy hitter there. Let's see. Beowulf says, one vendor for acrylic templates needs different file formats. What program do you use for creating your patterns? Okay, so I used to use Photoshop when I had my old MacBook because I had Photoshop on it. And then when I got my new MacBook, I was too much of a cheapskate because they switched it from a one-time buy to a monthly payment. And I am just a cheapskate. I don't know. I don't use it enough to denote paying that much for it every month. So now I use Affinity, which is basically the UK's version, and it works great, but I was never a pro in Photoshop. But Affinity is just a little bit different. It has all the same tools and stuff, but I'm just, yeah, so I use Affinity. That's the short answer. But, oh, so that's kind of, this is relevant. So the SVGs in Photoshop worked perfectly. They always work perfectly. And they loaded into everywhere almost perfectly. I don't remember Cricut having the issues that they had with my files until I switched over to Affinity. And I can't for the life of me understand why, because it's DPI and it's all, I set it to be the correct setting. But yeah, so I use Affinity, but I do have issues with my SVG files for Cricut users. And so what I have to do is go online and use like a file thing. So I'll save it as PDF and then I transfer it to or SVG, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I use Affinity, but I would recommend Photoshop. Okay, YouTube server is giving this channel fits getting server. Oh. Yeah, it seems like it's okay for me on my end. Maybe if you log out and log back in, it might quit acting up. Let's see. I really like the quilting on that. Thank you, Barb. Me too. I was less than convinced that it was going to look good, but I don't know why. Literally, quilting on anything looks so good. All right, so here is, so I didn't quite get this lining fabric tucked all the way back before I sewed it down. And so it's kind of hard to see, because it's so close to the natural Cork color, but you can kind of see it when you look at it. As compared to this one where it's nice and corky smooth. So I just need to baste all of this down. It's like giving me double hell because the it's not all the way ironed down to its interfacing anymore. Which I'm kind of used to working like that because it seems to happen on all of my, anytime I use interfacing. Okay, 2 pockets are done. And it is now time to go back over to the cutting table and we will prep for the next set of sewing. Oh my gosh, my tape's a mess. Okay, let's catch up on some comments. See, Jenna, it's a learning curve for sure. Reading how to do it sounds easy, but doing it not so much. Yeah, designing patterns in general, I think a lot of people think that it's super simple, and I think the simple part of designing a pattern is coming up with the design, but actually putting words to paper and then designing the pieces, like computerizing the pieces online, designing the cover, getting a good cover photo, it's a lot of work, not to mention testing and da-da-da-da-da, but yeah. Designing files can be super annoying. And it is hard because then there's always somebody that has an issue with it, whether it be they can't get it to load or it's the SVG files aren't importing correctly. So there's just always something. That being said, I do really enjoy being a pattern designer, and I'm not going to stop because I like a good challenge, but yeah. There's a lot more that goes into designing patterns than I think people realize. And the bar keeps getting raised for us. You know, like before having a video was optional, and now having a video is almost like you have to. And then also SVG files are just kind of expected. So it's a lot of work. Okay, Crystal. Oh, it's gonna look really good with pink on it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think so too. And so yeah, now that I've got these done, all I did, I just trimmed up the edges. And so this is what they both look like. This one a little bit wonkier than the other one, but it'll be inside so it won't matter. But now we get to do the fun part of attaching the straps to the top section of the bag. Okay, everything's falling apart in my life. Just kidding. Life is pretty good. Okay, tops and bottoms. So if you're just now tuning in, this is one of the amendments that I made to the pattern. If you've ever made it, then you know that it's designed, this whole interior piece was one, and I decided to cut it in half to save this section of cork here. So there's not an additional section. And so now what I'm gonna do is I need to lay my handles down on this top section, and then I'm gonna sandwich them together and flip. And then I get to save a bunch of cork. And the way that I did this amendment is the way that the pattern pieces are designed, I just added a 1/4 inch to each of the top edge of the bottom section and the bottom edge of the top section. And so to give me a seam allowance for when I turn and flip. And if all goes as planned, then once this is completed, it will match the the interior, which I just realized I didn't cut it. Oh my gosh. I swear. I'm gonna have to cut interiors and interface them. Ugh. All right. So I'm just centering this. Then I'm gonna eyeball, well, you know, I can just see the centers. So I'm just gonna mark it. And then the pattern, she has, she tells you where to lay your straps. And I think I might move it in a little bit more. So let me show you the one I made last night. So on this one, I feel like my straps are just a little bit too close. They're not impeded whatsoever by the pocket, but I think I'm gonna try to move them a little closer so that it kind of resembles this. See, this one has the gap, the nice gap here. So I think I need to move these over. And I probably, if I had the hardware, I would have made these 3/4 inch, which I guess I could have done that. I don't know why I didn't. Anyways, next time I'll make the straps probably 3/4 inch. But I think it still looks nice. It's not like weird looking. Okay, so I need to grab my ruler. Okay. So I'm gonna bring mine in a little bit more. Oh yeah, so I am actually going to add some double stick tape to just the bottom section of, here's my second line. So I'm just gonna put some tape here so that my strap stays in place when I'm sewing it. Okie dokie. So of course, refer to the pattern for this. I am bringing it in 1 inch in total, so a 1/2 inch on each side. I'm gonna lay this and see how I feel about it. I'm gonna start on this side because I want my folds. I want this edge that has the double folds to be towards the center. Okay, so that's a little better, but you can see where my line is drawn. That's way too close, so I'm gonna have to bring it down some. So yeah. I think that this, oh, did I do it wrong? I did it backwards. Gosh, I keep doing this backwards on every single one I've made. Oops, that's fine. To get the fold on the inside, I keep doing it backwards. It's right the first time. Sorry if that doesn't make sense. You're watching me problem solve in real time. All right, I think that's better. And so what the reason I flipped it around is because I want this exterior fold to be the actual fold instead of the two, which is just preference. I don't even know why I care, but you know, I just do. And so I am going to have to move my lines down. Whoa. This little second sew line, I'm gonna have to move it down probably to about there. So I need to make a note of that for the next time I make one of these, because I want my stitches to come farther down so that I don't have the gap. I don't think it's a huge deal to have the gap, but I mean, it definitely doesn't affect how it functions, but still. Okay, so I'm going to do my new lines right there. So that gives me almost a full inch of wiggle room whenever I'm doing my final construction. Okay, so now we just need to mirror that on this side. Let's see, do we have any comments? Okay, Letitia, yes, I'm home now. Letitia, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that you have to get chemo. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. I hope that you're feeling okay and that you are okay. Jeez, that's heavy. But I'm glad that you're here now. Thank you for joining us. Yes, I'm home. I got home last Saturday. And yeah, if you didn't watch my last live, I talked about the RV and just a couple things about the trip if anybody wants to hear that. Okay, here we go. Oh. Need to find my center here. Let's see. Writing for everyone from experience. News. Oh, Laura, I don't know. Laura, did you say something earlier that I missed? I know I haven't been really paying attention to the conversation. All right. Kimberly, so much work. I do mostly in the hoops. I generally have 9 to 10 pieces that all need digitized and measuring the pieces PDF. I dabbled in sewing, but I only do the cutting chart. Yeah, Kimberly, writing patterns is not for the weak, or the weary, rather. You can be as weak as you want. Katrina, if you're talking about Cricut machines, that is a DPI of 72. Cameos and Brothers use 300, though, which is why they import incorrectly. You're inspiring. Oh, thank you, Jamie. I love watching the thought process. Oh, yeah. Besides losing things, I spend a lot of time pondering. So I'm glad you enjoy it. So I feel like I'm wasting your time, but you guys can leave if you don't want to watch it. So I figure it's up to you if you want to watch me on the struggle bus. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Hi, Erica. Pam, seems you're using more tape rather than glue lately. Yeah, so glue on this, you can see how it's misshaping it. So glue on this, it would just take forever to dry. And because I have just, ever since I designed the Taste Steel Tote, I've been using more and more tape. Because I've also been using a lot more wax canvas, and the glue takes forever to dry on the wax canvas, and even when it dries, it doesn't really hold. So I use a good mix of the glue and the tape. Generally, if I'm making wallets, I'm using glue, and if I'm making bags, I'm using tape. It's just kind of been the way that's been going recently. Okay, so I've got these ready to go. So now what I'm gonna do, I need to add my measurement there, but now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the machine, I'm gonna stitch up the exterior across and then back down on all four. And then I'm gonna create my sandwich and go from there. And then we can lay our pockets on top. So we're getting somewhere, people. It's so nice when a bag starts to really come together. This bag really comes together quickly too. Like this is only my third one, and yeah, I've made all of, like, for the last 3 days. It's my third day in a row that I've made one. All right, we're gonna pop back over to the machine, to the sewing machine. Man, my table's such a mess. This drives me crazy. Oh, hi, Gloria. Welcome. Welcome to the party. I'm going to try to do more lives. I said earlier in the live, I was trying to go live for my Patreon members, but I didn't give them any advance warning. So instead, I just put up a poll, and I'm going to either go live on my Patreon on Tuesday or Thursday. I think I might make it a weekly or bi-weekly thing over there. And it's a much smaller group. So I'm excited to see how the lives go there. So if you want to get in on the action, join my Patreon. All right, so this is what it looks now that it's stitched down. And so I have that gap there, just like on my other one, but, you know, whatever. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to do this other side here. Funny, I'm watching on the TV, but I have the laptop so I can read comments, but the TV is a little behind. Yeah, so I'm streaming from my phone, and then I've got my laptop right there so that I can read the comments too, because if I just try to do it on my phone, the comments disappear so quick. All right, so we're gonna make our little sandwich. So right sides together. Ow. My pointer finger's been hurting for a while now, and it's like whenever I put pressure, like sideways, but whenever I push on the side, it hurts really bad. I've been looking into it, and my knuckle's really swollen, and it's really painful in there. But it seems like I might have a little arthritis in my finger. But yeah, I only tell you because I just tweaked it, and I had forgotten until just now. Okay, so there they are sewn together. And then I'm just going to finger press. I'm going to leave this seam towards the bottom. I'm not going to butterfly it like I do on the Taste Steel and on the mini box tote. I'm just going to leave it straight down. Gosh, this pink and black looks really good together. I've never made anything like this. I think just having a bowler bag like this would be really cool. It's like sophisticated but fun. Oops. And stuff on the ground again. Laura, talking about writing patterns, trying not to write something someone doesn't understand. Yeah, and also the other thing too is, without a doubt, anytime, not every single time, but a lot of the times when I get an idea, I just sit on it and I don't put it out for a while. I'll make one for myself and test it. And then, wouldn't you know, like somebody comes out with something so similar. So there must be something, you know, we're all looking at the same stuff, it seems like, and we're all catching the same subconscious inspiration or something. So it's really kind of funny how that works. Letitia, I've been fighting for 8 years. This last one chewed me up and spit me out as bad. Oh gosh, that's so, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Sending you lots of love and lots of heart hugs. Okay, Jenna, I know this sounds weird, but you could have an ingrown fringe nail? What's a fringe nail? I've never heard of that. My finger, it's like, that's the farthest I can put it all the way in. My other hand, I can go all the way. but that's the farthest I can put it in. So it's just really swollen through the knuckle, and it only hurts if I put pressure on the outsides of it and if I, the very top of the knuckle. And if I go like that, it's kind of poppy. Oh, an ingrown fingernail? Oh, I've had those. This is not that. I was a terrible nail biter for the vast majority of my life, and I've had plenty of ingrown fingernails. No, this is like totally different. You can kind of see like how much bigger this finger is than this one. It started a few months ago, and you know, when I really started to notice it was when I was making straps from applying all the pressure. I think that's what kind of started it or exacerbated it. And then we went to the South Florida Fair when we were in Florida, and I was in a fun house. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but I posted a video. I held myself up on all fours, and I went all the way upside down in one of the rotating circular things in the fun houses, and I fell the first time, and I think I might have tweaked it when I fell. And so I woke up the next morning, and it was in a lot more pain than normal, and it hasn't gone away since then. But when I research or look it up, it kind of seems like maybe osteoarthritis, which seems weird that it's only in one knuckle. But I do have lots of joint pain, so I'm sure it's coming for me. All right, so we've got this done. I'm going to pop back over to the table, and we'll put the, or no, I'm going to grab my pockets. We're going to put the pockets all over, or on it. Jeez. Okay, so this is what it's gonna look like. So we have our front pocket, and we're just gonna lay it and match up the sides. And you can see, I'll clip it and show you, but from where I quilted this front pocket, it shrunk. It pulled the cork in because I forgot to enlarge the pocket before cutting it, which I've forgotten every time, and it's worked out so far. But if you are going to quilt this front pocket, I do suggest adding at least 1/4 of an inch, if not 3/8, around the sides. So you can see here how it's overhanging, but I'm just going to base this in place, and then I'll just trim this down. I haven't had an issue getting the gusset to fit yet, so hopefully that's not an issue tonight. Yeah, see, I put a lot of pressure on this little finger. Whenever I'm sewing, that's where I'm like guiding. My joint issues definitely started within the last 5 years, ever since I went full-time with SewGnar. I'm cutting and sewing, and it's this elbow and this wrist. So this is my cutting hand, and this is my pressure hand, or my pressure arm. So yeah, I've definitely seen an uptick in my body pain since I sew all day, every day, and sit for the most part. Sewing is hard on your body. Brandon, my husband, is a tattooer, and he's the same way. Gosh, he's gonna be a hunchback when he gets older. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the same thing here. Okie dokie. So we're gonna go back over this way. Angling at the table. So this is what they look like now. And then the gusset is going to be black. So all the way around, so it's going to be a bright but dark. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun one. I can feel it. So I'm just trimming off that excess. It does change the shape of this external panel just a touch. So it's just something to consider if you are gonna quilt. Again, just try to remember to enlarge that piece, which then you'll also have to enlarge the lining. So just something to think about. Oh yeah, now I need to add my tag before I forget that. So I like to put my tags here, and you could do it before you attach the pocket, but I like attaching the pocket first because it gives me just a visual of where to place it. Okay, so I'm gonna put it there. I will sew that down once we go back over to that side. Let's see if you guys had any new questions here. Gloria, you're the reason I'm hooked on cork material. Well, you're welcome. I'm hooked on it too, obviously. That's not even all my cork. It's crazy. I can't stop buying it. Crystal, I've had carpal tunnel surgery both. Oh gosh. Motrin, well that's good to know. So I don't ever take anything for my finger. But if Motrin, I was gonna ask if anybody had any suggestions. Rena, what did you miss? I can fill you in if you have questions. Julie, my osteoarthritis started in one knuckle. Oh, well, great. Thank you. What do you do for yours, and where did it spread to next? And is yours from sewing? I saw your TikTok video today. Oh, good, Betty. Yeah, I'm trying to get more. I used to get a lot of engagement on TikTok, and then I stopped up. I don't know, I got shadow banned, and now it's really hard to get my videos seen. I have arthritis on my right middle finger. Top knuckle bends to the left. Yeah, so when I was just in Florida, my grandmother lives down there, and her fingers are like super arthritic. She actually gave me some family rings. She gave me this really, I don't know, it's probably hard to see, but she gave me this really cool ring. It's a family ring, and she gave me these two, which I've had this ruby for a while, but this one was her wedding band to my grandfather, so I got that one. But she can't put them on because of her arthritis. But I had a sweet score because of it, but yeah. I'm a little nervous now, and it's just kind of, it all started a few months ago. How do you clean the cork fabric? Lori, I have a video on my TikTok about how I clean it, but basically just soap and water, and I wipe it really well. Beowulf, aha, that's why you have so much cool ink. I don't even remember what I said. Why do I have so much cool ink? My memory... in and out, especially when I'm doing lives and I'm trying to sew. I can't focus. So I don't even know what I'm saying. Dang, you're so good with that rotary cutter and fast freehand. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've never had an issue with the rotary cutter, but I have seen where people have cut the tips of their finger off, so it's definitely not anything to play with. I need to change my blade. It's getting dull. I have not been to South Florida Fair since 1984. That's hilarious. Marjorie, yeah, so I haven't been since I was a kid and I got lost. One of my youngest memories is getting lost at the South Florida Fair. And somehow I was reunited with my mom fairly quickly, but we had a great time this time. We rode every ride that we could. Thank you, Crystal. It is a beautiful ring. I'm so excited. I got a grip of other rings too. This big, huge, like, I'm sure it's a fake diamond, but it's really pretty. I'll have to put them on in my next live. Guess I can work at the same time. If I'm going to make something quilted, I quilt a large square or rectangle first to create quilted fabric, then cut out the pattern. Yeah, that's a good idea, Mouse Boots. My thing with cork is, number one, it's so expensive, so I don't like to do that. Oh, Krista, yes, that is why I have a lot of tattoos, because Brandon's a tattoo artist. But I also have a lot of tattoos by other people because Brandon, he is busy, I'll put it that way. It's, you know, I'm the last one to get tattoos by him. But I do get some free work for sure. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. So, Mouse Boots. Another reason that I wouldn't do that, especially on this pattern, is because the foam will be in your seam allowance if you cut it. And that's going to make it really challenging, especially on this pattern, because it's binded on the inside. So if you have that foam, it's just going to make it so thick and really hard to work with. But that being said, if it works for you, then go for it. My machine and my skill set, I try not to stress either of them out because I do too often. So I'm just going to use double stick tape to stick this foam onto my zipper gusset because I'm going to quilt this as well. So you can see on this gusset, I quilted it and I put the foam in here and I like the structure that it gives it. So I'm going to try it on this one as well. All right, let's see. Karen had a swollen knuckle like that before and it eventually went away. Well, that's what I'm hoping for. I was talking to my mom about it, and she's the one that brought up arthritis, and I started looking it up, and I was like, oh no. And I mean, my mom has osteo, my grandma does, so it only seems fitting that I would as well, but hopefully not. All right, I have gloves which help. Yes, I do sew. I used to hand sew, but it's harder now. You have gloves that help your arthritis, Julie? Whoa, Pam, what is that word? Is that a subscription? Diclofenac? I probably slaughtered that. What is that? Is that a prescription? Oh gosh, sorry, Nick. Yeah. To be fair, I've only seen one fingertip ever that got cut off. So hopefully you won't be the second. Okay, I need to cut my zipper tape. I'm trying so hard to keep these organized. Zipper tape, ever since I started using it, it's now becoming another thing that I buy a lot of. I've got it all hanging back here too. All these rolls. I've got supplies everywhere. But I'm going to do a mustard zip on this bag. Bring out the mustard in the prickly pear print. And then on the inside pocket, I'll do a black because I don't have mustard number 3. Oh yeah, I forgot. So I'm going to quilt this. Should I quilt it? I'm not going to quilt it. I don't feel like it. I was going to quilt the foam, but I'm just going to leave the foam like this and hopefully it stays. Okay, so need some zipper. And then I'm just going to clip this into place. Whoops. Krista, thank you. I got them on Zulu. I'm trying to become an ambassador for them right now, but they haven't responded yet. But maybe I'll be an ambassador soon and I can get some discount codes. Okay, so clipping the zipper placket into place, and now do right sides together, make that sandwich. Okay, so now we just need to go to the machine and stitch this down, and I'm just going to bring my other side over there as well, so that we can just move right along once we get going. I don't know how much longer. I think I might extend this into a 2-day live, just because Brandon got home and I haven't seen him, and I need to cut an interface 2 more pieces that I forgot to do earlier, which will take some time. So I might make this into a 2-parter, but I'll save it. I won't finish it without you guys. All right, so this is another thing that's different. In the pattern, she says to flip both, so they're wrong sides together, and then you stitch down the lining and the exterior at the same time. If you have been following me for any amount of time, you know that I don't do that. So I'm just going to flip just the top, and I'm going to finger press this and top stitch it. And I'm going to top stitch with this excess going towards the foam, and then the inside won't have the stitch line. And I do it like this because honestly, whenever I used to try to stitch both sides at the same time, inevitably I wouldn't fold them the same, and the lining would always get screwed up because I can't see it. And so this just saves some of that heartache and makes it easier. Oh, there goes the bobbin. I ran out. I knew it was going to happen eventually. Of course, it would be when I have contrast thread. All right, so we can use this time to answer some questions. Ow. All right, arthritis gloves. I got mine at the pharmacy. I'm in Australia. Julie, I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of such a thing, but I'm pretty new on the arthritis talk. Now that I'm in... I don't know if you guys know how old I am. You want to guess? But now that I'm in my getting older years, now I talk about things like arthritis on YouTube. I hear you, but I am a grandma. Crystal, yeah. Well, congratulations on being a grandma. Let's see, do you get your zips from More Amino? Krista, I do get some of them from her. I also get them from Zipper Valley. And, those are about the 2 places I get them now. I thought I got some from another... Oh, recently I got some from Mojo Sews, and they seem to be the same quality. The teeth are not full brass, though. They're kind of like two-tone, which is cool, but it wasn't what I was expecting. But the color of the tape is really cool. It's like a salmon coral color. I'll show you when I go back over there. But so Mojo Sews, Mormino, and mostly Zipper Valley. Oh, Lori, thank you. I totally would have forgotten to sew my label down. Thank you. You're a peach. Okay, I already read that one. Pam, what did you say? I think I'm... Oh, that D thing for arthritis pain. Pam, I was asking though, is that a prescription, that medication that you said for arthritis pain? Would I have to go to a doctor for that, or is that something over the counter? Truth be told, I don't really understand the big difference between aspirin and all the like NSAIDs and stuff. I just know that you're not supposed to drink if you take them every day. That's about my knowledge on all that. It would be quilt. Oh, cool to quilt around the cactus leaves. That would be really cool. I never think about doing that. That's a really good idea. We'll have to do that on the next bag. It'd be cool to do that with the deco or the sunflowers. That would be really cool, the sunflowers. Pam said, I'm addicted to buying everything. Glad I'm not alone. Yeah, I only buy craft supplies. About everything else, I've had it since high school. Laura said, you're in your 30s. You are correct. I'm in my 30s. Zips from WowWack. Rena, I do get zips from WowWack, but I get the pre-made number 3 zips, but I get number 3 zipper by the yard from Zipper Valley, which I really love, but they don't have a ton of colors, so I still fall back on WowWack. And they're so cheap there too, and they have really nice colors. And I also get them from Zip It Zippers on Etsy. Jennifer's really great. She's got a ton of colors, but they're just a little bit cheaper on WowWack, whatever. Such a weird name. I would like to know the backstory to that one. Okay, Sharina, thank you. Yeah, I'll have to look into that medication. Okay, got my tag sewn, and now let's finish this. Now I'm actually just gonna pick this out because it's gonna be so obvious. Okay. All right, so now I'm just gonna flip the lining down and throw a clip on here just to keep it out of the way. And then do the other side. All right. So my foam is just barely in the crease, which is actually, that might work out in my favor on this spot since I didn't quilt this down so it'll hold it in place, but it is making finger pressing not nice or easy. So there we go. Our nice zipper pocket. Now we just need to add the zipper pull. And then it might be it for the evening. Oh wait, I can do the full gusset. Okay. All right. Gosh, this table. Wow, whack. Thank you, Nick. I learned that when I had an issue and a rep called me. Wow, whack. That's kind of what I assumed. Okay. Where are the kids this evening? Oh, my pets. Joppa is out on the couch. It was really rainy here today, so he's been sleeping all day. And then the cats, I don't know where they are. Sal wasn't here. He was sleeping on my chair. And then Druzy, I don't even know. Oh, she wasn't here, but I kept kicking her off my table because I was trying to cut the bag out. So they're here. Druzy scratched on the door just a little bit ago, but I didn't let her in. Wow Whack is the founder's last name. Oh, thanks, Barb. That tracks. That makes sense for sure. So on this bag, I'm going to use, ooh, maybe I'll use those. So my, Zipper Valley only has a few number 3 zip tapes and also a few number 3 zip pull options. So normally I do I like them to match. So normally I do the donuts, like the big donut and then the little donut on the 3s. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get them all back in the bag. But this time when I ordered these cool tangy ball ones. I don't know what they are. And I got big ones too, but I'm actually just noticing that the number 5s are quite different, the finish wise, than number 3s. So this is like a more standard antique brass that you get from most shops. But my Zipper Valley, she has this interesting two-tone. You can see the actual zip head is black. If you can tell, I don't know if you can tell. I don't know how influencers do it. Put my hand up in front of it. But it's actually, it's almost like brushed brass is more what her new zip pulls are. So all the other brass ones are like the brushed brass, but sometimes you order some stuff and they're this older regular brass colors. I don't know, they don't really match. Anyways, I'm just gonna go with the old trusty and do donuts. Donut pulls. I really love the ring pulls that they sell, and the Duchess pulls are really cool, but they don't have them in matching number 3. Oh, I did just get, I got little chevrons from Lauren recently. But who knows where they are. Oh, right here. I got these cute little number 3 pulls. I think these are from Lauren. But yeah, so we're gonna do the chevrons. You can see it's kind of different. These two are different too. This is that brushed brass, and this is like the old antique brass. Which these are both from Lauren. So I don't know if maybe the distributors are switching that up on the makers or where the change is coming from, but What company started in 1907 by selling fine woolen fabrics, according to Google. Huh. Well, that's good to learn. 1907, wow. Woolen fabrics. Well, they've really diversified if they're selling everything now. I know they just added hardware, too. that. And we need to add our D-ring connectors before adding the gusset. So I'm just going to put a little bit of double stick tape on the ends here to hold this in place. Oh, so it's a topical gel, that medication. So is it a pain reliever? I'm glad all you guys are here to, or all you people are here to help me. I would have just let it go. All right, so I'm going to place these just on top of my zipper tape. I'm just going to center it. I'm going to eyeball it as much as possible. And then I'm just going to clip it into place until we get the gussets on there. Oh, and actually, I did that wrong. I'm going to trim down my zipper first. And I need to overhang this end. I'm going to overhang it so that I can add a rivet in it to just make sure, you know, the added security. So I'm just going to overhang it about a ½ inch. Careful on this one. I forgot to sew stitches over the zip tape, so I got to be careful and make sure that I don't let the zip tape come all the way unzipped. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. The black and gold really looks good together. I like that a lot. And I happen to have some mustard cork. I wonder, like an all black and mustard, if that, how that would look good. Some honeycombs on the front. Okay, so because my print is directional, I cut the gusset in half and added seam allowances. So I'm just gonna pop to my machine real quick and sew this together. Turn you around for a second. Actually, I'm just going to stitch this. Oh my Lord, I am so sorry. Took a tumble. There. Okay, so I'm also going to stitch this down just to make it easier to work with. Okay. And then stitch this. All right, so now we're all sewn together. Voila. And now we can flip back around. Try not to drop you again. Oh my gosh. One day I'll be professional, maybe. Alrighty, so. Hi, Eva. Welcome, welcome. Katrina, eucalyptus oil and doTERRA's deep blue are great for arthritis. Oh, good. That's good to know. I did not know that about eucalyptus. I did sew my label earlier, Lori. I did, because you reminded me. See? I got it on there. But I would have forgotten, 100%. Okay, so this, because the gusset is on the inside of the bag, we're going to do these right sides together. Just lining up the edges. And then my, oh, here it is. Top gusset piece, I'm doing this right sides together as well. Just sandwiching the zipper in the middle. And then same on the other side. And then we're gonna go to the machine. We're just gonna sew both of them down. Let's see. The cream stinks. Oh, good to know, Laura. Thank you. It did work. I was amazed at how bad it smelled. Good to know. Hi, Vidali. Good evening to you too. Oh, Navajo Res. That's where I used to live, out in Durango, Colorado. I guess we were like Southern Ute, actually, but close. Oh, Jamie, seriously, how much are you selling that bag for? Oh, so I'm not sure. Have you been here the whole time? I talked about my pricing earlier. I was saying how this bag is going to be rather expensive just because it is. I did all my calculations. Jeez, there you go. You can see I spent a lot of time doing calculations earlier. But so this one is going to be an 85% with cork and cotton. So this is going to be around 180, if not a little bit more, plus shipping. So I think 180 is, yeah, it'll be 180 plus shipping. Okay, I'm going to pop over to the machine. Gotta be really careful because my D-ring is just right there. Right, let's do this side. Okay, so I've got everything stitched down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my exterior down to expose this seam. And then I'm going to top stitch, again, just like I did on the zipper area. I'm not going to top stitch the inside. So I'm going to keep, it's a little bit wonky to show you, but I'm going to keep the lining gusset away from the seam. And I'm going to finger press the exterior seam down and top stitch it. And that's what it should look like. And now I'm just going to do the same on this side. Can be just a little bit wild to try to wrestle with, but it can be done. Go back over here. Oh gosh, I should have just stayed over there. I meant to stay over there so that I could stitch everything. So I could baste everything. But so this is what it should look like. You should have your full gusset now. And I'm just gonna go around and pin everything into place. Or not pin, but you know, clip. excuse me, I've got some overlap here. Just gonna trim that. Okay. Just gonna clip the other side in place, and then I'll add my rivets. And then I'm going to go back to the machine and I'm just going to baste this into place so that when I'm clipping it to my exterior, which gosh, I wish I could do tonight, but also my phone's going to die soon anyways, so I'll just have to make a part 2 of this video. Durango, right down the road from me. Still as beautiful as ever. Yes, it is beautiful there. The only reason we left is because it's just so expensive. But yeah, we used to go to the casino and go bowling and stuff when we lived out there. See a bunch of shows at the casino. We'll be traveling out to Durango this summer, probably, or fall. Okay, so here it is all clipped together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add my rivet here and here. Hi, Courtney. Hello from North Carolina, USA. If you're just getting here, I'm going to be wrapping up the video soon for a couple of reasons. One is my phone is going to die. 2 is I'm hungry. And 3 is because Brandon is home and I haven't seen him. We'll go out there and hang out with him. We might be going out of town tomorrow. So if we do part 2 of this video, I will do next week. But if we don't, I will probably come on tomorrow evening. And then if you haven't already and you're interested, I am planning on going live in my Patreon for my patrons, either Tuesday or Thursday, maybe both days, depending. And that's going to be a much more, it's going to be a much smaller setting. And yeah, so there's that. Oh, yeah. So these don't reach all the way over here. Actually, it might. Oh, I'm glad I realized this. So I'm going to put Craft Tex in the bottom of this to make it to have a sturdy base. This one has Peltex in it, and so does this other one back here. But I wanted to try Craft Tex and see how that worked. Craft Tex is what I use in all of my Triskel wallets, and I really like the stability that it gives. Excuse me. So let's pop it into the bottom here and see how that does. Usually I tape it or glue it down way before this, but I forgot. Obviously. Okay. So I cut my Craft Tex to be 1 inch smaller. So a 1/2 inch smaller on all 4 sides. So that equaled out to 1 inch smaller. But what I didn't take into account is this. Oh, but it worked. Never mind. Never mind. Sorry. You're seeing me work through problems. right, so I got it centered, so I'm just gonna go back and clip everything back into place. So this is a reason why I think that it would be hard to turn this bag through a pocket, because if you put in a nice stable base, it's just going to be a nightmare trying to turn it like a traditional, or like how a lot of bags are made. I was going to upload a tutorial on how to make it so that there's no binding, which it can be done, and it can be done fairly easily. But then you have to turn it, so you'd have to really think about the materials that you're using, because turning this is going to be hard. All right, I do need to take a little bit off of this. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Usually this will not reach all the way over here because of the stable base in there. So recently I went to Tractor Supply and I bought a set of these punches. And it came with a ton of them. And I'm just using the smallest one that it came with. And it's just a rivet punch. And that way, oh my gosh, I just knocked all my paints down. It's about the 7th thing I've knocked over since I've been on live. But yeah, so watch your ears. I'm going to hammer this, but this makes it so much easier to get rivets into the middle of areas. So here we go. And of course, you know, I mixed up my rivets. I'm trying to find the bigger ones. Here's one. All right, so turn down your volume if you want. So yeah, having those punches makes it so much easier. I think next time I make a range backpack, like adding the rivets to the back is such a pain. So this will make it a lot easier. I didn't get all the way through, so here we go again. Oh my gosh, still. There we go. That one went straight into my cutting mat. Careful doing that on your cutting mat. Yeah, I need to get like a piece of wood or something, because there's definitely holes in my mat. Not holes all the way through, but if I would have kept going, they would have gone all the way through. I spilled half a bottle of base coat on my carpet. Oh my gosh, Lisa, that's terrible. Yeah, I have stuff all over the floor. All right, so I'm just gonna pop back to the machine, and this will be the last thing that I do, but I'm just gonna baste all the way around to hold my lining and my exterior together. And then when we come back, and the reason that I'm leaving, oh yeah, the 4th reason I'm leaving is because I forgot to cut this interior piece. But when I come back to do part 2, we will lay everything in together. But this is what it's gonna look like, and I think it's gonna be pretty stunning. I'm really excited to see this combo all together. And then I have a pink crossbody strap if you're just joining. So the pink that's on the front will be reflected in the strap. It's going to be so cool. Okay, let's go sew this down. I'm going to sew it cork side up. Oh my God. 2 times. That's fun. So I'm just sewing 1/8 seam, basting it. Oh, jeez. Something I'm just now realizing, the bottom has craft text, but the top has foam, which I think it's fine, but I think next time I'll try craft text up here as the stabilizer instead of foam. It'll probably be a lot thinner and easier to work with. Okie dokie, artichoke. So this is what it looks like now with just the, what you call it, basting stitch. This is how that looks. Go back up here, see if you guys asked anything else before I sign off. Okay, well, this has been an eventful live. I've dropped a multitude of items. I've dropped 2 times my phone. I hurt my finger, but I didn't sew over it. This table being a mess is driving me crazy. Lisa, thank you so much. Krista, unzip the zipper for access. Yeah, I don't have to do that yet because that doesn't come until I attach both of the side panels. Right now it's just the gusset, so didn't have to do that. I bought a cutting board from a thrift store. Kara, that's a good idea. I do have an extra one that I used to use for my branding iron floating around here somewhere. So I'll just use that for when I'm punching holes. And Amberly, where do you sell your bags once you make them? Usually vending, and then what's left I'll put on, well, normally I don't have a lot of bags left over from vending, but I'll like post them on Instagram, and if people want to buy them, then they can buy them. But now the way that I'm running my shop is I'm going to do shop updates. So I'll make whatever I want, and then I'll post it on my website, send out a newsletter, post on Instagram, things like that to let people know that the shop is open. And then I will be closing the shop again. And I will have a few custom slots a month. So if you want something very specific or you want a certain bag, whatever, I will open up X amount of spots per month for those types of orders. But the rest will all be not made to order, ready to ship. You have a great eye for color. Thank you, Lisa. This bag, yeah, I don't know. What this, it's really the cork that I've always put mustard and pink with the cork, with this specific cork because it's in the print. But yeah, the black really makes everything pop on this one. Krista, meant for the whole unzip the zipper for access to the, oh. Yeah, I guess I could have done that. But it was already in the round. So I don't know that having it unzipped, I don't know. I feel like because of where it's at, having the zipper unzipped wouldn't have really helped. But I don't know. I'll have to try that next time though. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to bid you adieu. I don't see any more questions rolling in, but I really appreciate y'all hanging out with me, and I hope that you learned some things, and I just appreciate you keeping me company. So I will post on my Instagram and in my sewing group when I'm going to be going live again to finish this bag, but I will wait to finish this bag until I'm back on live with you guys. I promise. And yeah, so if you're not in my group, be sure to join my Facebook group, the Patreon link. I'll put all that in the description box. That's about it. But I really, really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And I loved that you guys were all talking together. That was really cool to see. So thank you again. Everybody have a great night. I'm going to go eat some food and say hi to my hubby. And I'll see you either tomorrow or next week. But keep an eye on my Instagram and Facebook and I'll let you know. Later.